Hey folks, my name is Ricardo Costa. I am the Associate Director of Ag Strategies at the Nature Conservancy in Wisconsin. Very happy to be able to talk to you for a little bit. Thank you to Andrea, thank you to Cap for that amazing partnership we have. I want to start by talking a little bit about TNC, right? So TNC, we have been around for over 70 years. We are in over 70 continents and territories. But for the last 10 years or so, we started actually working more closely with farmers. The reason is we have some ambitious goals. For example, one of them is to influence 50% of the row crop acres in North America by 2030. We cannot do that alone. We have a small team in Wisconsin. There are only two people. We rely a lot in partnerships. And that's why working with farmers are no-brainer. And also farmers are the folks doing conservation. We need to be with them, right? Also, on top of that, we realize we also need to work with farm advisors, with CCAs. And that's why I'm here today, because I want to talk a little bit about the work we have been doing so far with CCAs, but also leave the door open. I have two questions there, because I want to ask you, what else should we do as TNC when it comes to working farm advisors? You might be asking yourself, well, great, but tell me why you want to work with farm advisors. Well, think about it. We have over 600 uh, farm advisors in Wisconsin alone, about 13,000 in North America. 28% of those, they service more than 40,000 acres. 22% of those CCAs have more than 70 farmers as their customers. So think about it. We are a small team of only two folks. I don't have the connections. I don't have the trust that those CCAs have, right? So imagine how much more work we could do if we could find a way to engage with them when it comes to conservation. Again, they have the trust that I don't have, and many of my peers work in conservation, they also don't. So we actually interviewed a few CCAs on a survey a few years ago and realized that CCAs, even for those not actually working in conservation, they're actually still very interested in learning more about those topics. What are their preferred topics? 50% of them said cover crops is their preferred topic. We said 35% of them said crop rotation. 27% said conservation tillage. So you can see there is an appetite from CCAs to learn more and get more engaged with those topics. The nice connection is where is the opportunity for us, right? So we also interviewed over 1,000 farmers a few years ago, and we realized, and we have one specific question. Which of the following sources do you typically use for information about cover crops? Most of them rely on themselves, they rely on other farmers, but look here, only 21% of them rely on certified crop advisor or agronomist. So there is opportunity. Like the farmers uh, trust their farm advisors. They have the connection, so they could actually rely more on those farm advisors when it comes to ask more about conservation practices. And I'm going to show you here where for you to keep seeing where the opportunity lay for us here. So on your graph on the left, we can see that in general, the retailer, so think about the co-op, the local co-op where they have an associate there. So about 90% of them have they play no role when it comes to conservation adoption by the farmer. What's very interesting though, that the farmers answer that they would be adopting conservation practice if an ag retailer of a conservation agronomist would tell them to do. So 40% of them said, hey, if my co-op, if my ag retailers tell me about conservation practice, I'm going to be implementing. So can you see the connection? CCAs are interested in conservation. They have the trust. Farmers will trust them and implement the practice if they say so. So there is what we are trying to show CCAs and engage with them to see how can you bridge that gap and get them to support more farmers on conservation practices. I also want to speak very, very briefly here about what we TNC has been doing when it comes to engaging with CCAs, right? So we have done our work mainly in four different areas. We have work on training and workforce development. We also have done some work on equipment and infrastructure. We have done work in de-risking new business opportunities and also building awareness. So how we are doing that specifically? So building awareness, we are supporting meetings. We are attending meetings like this one when it comes to training and education. We are doing that not only in Wisconsin, but also in other states. We had a few programs when it comes to equipment cost share, where we had actually help the retailer to pay for new equipments that could be used among their members or customers. We have done that in other states. I also have done some work in supporting like what we call de-risking new business opportunities. So farmers that they want to implement cover crops, for example, if they have a yield hit because of those cover crops, TNC would help to offset that cost because of that yield hit. So those are a few examples on how we are doing. And of course, as I mentioned, trying to connect with folks through trainings and talk about their work. But to finalize my talk here, and of course, I am via Zoom and you're not going to be able to answer me now, but I would love you to think about what I have shared with you all. Like, I really wanted to find ways to engage more with CCAs in Wisconsin. We wanted to support them so they can support farmers. If you're a CCA, if you work with CCAs, if you have ideas, reach out to me. Tell me what we should do. We are looking for new ways to engage. We are talking to a bunch of folks and we are learning on the way. So your input is going to be very, very, very important. And I have another question as well. What do you think are the main barriers that are keeping CCAs from leaning more in conservation? We saw in my data that they care about conservation. We saw in my data that they actually the farmers trust him when it comes to conservation. We saw in that data that they have a lot of influence. What needs to happen for them to be able to have more farmers doing conservation? If you have the answer for this question, if you want to just chat, please email me, right? So here is my email. It's ricardo.costa@tnc.org. I would love to hear from you. We are really looking for ways to support farm advisors in Wisconsin. Reach out. Let's chat. I hope you enjoy the rest of your training, okay? Thanks so much. Bye-bye.